welcome today. My name is Brooke Michael. I'm one of the advisors here at the University of Michigan-Flint in the School of Nursing, and today we're going to talk about some of our nursing certificate opportunities. So first certificate we're going to talk about is our case management certificate, our undergraduate case management certificate. This is a fully online certificate, and it is open to either students that are currently enrolled at the University of Michigan-Flint in one of our BSN tracks, whether that is accelerated second degree BSN, traditional BSN, veterans BSN, or RN to BSN, or for a student that currently holds a BSN within the United States from any college or university. The case management certificate is open and is teaching about the evolving practice that constantly transforms in response to changes in healthcare laws and regulations, delivery systems, accreditation standards, and expectations from both clients, providers, and payers. A lot of our students that go through this certificate end up working in hospitals, outpatient clinics, insurance companies, or disease management organizations. The second online certificate we're going to talk about is our online certificate in leadership and management. This certificate is open to the same criteria as the last one, either currently enrolled in the University of Michigan-Flint in one of our different BSN tracks, or a student that already holds their BSN within a university or college in the United States. So this is, again, kind of self-explanatory. It is for any student that is looking to advance their career in a leadership or managerial type role. So a lot of our students end up working as unit leaders, nurse educators, or management really within any healthcare organization. Our next certificate we're going to talk about is our online undergraduate nursing and healthcare informatics certificate. So a lot of times students are really interested in this certificate, and this certificate is actually open to even more of a population. So again, same population as the last one, where it is any student currently enrolled in one of our BSN tracks, a student that holds their BSN, but also students that hold their associate's degree in nursing or their RN license can do this certificate. So this certificate is for anyone that's looking to practice in a specialty that involves the synthesis of data and information into knowledge while incorporating the ethical concerns of advocacy, privacy, confidentiality, and security related to the use of data and information. As you can imagine, this is a growing need and a growing field within a lot of different hospitals and organizations, so there is becoming more of a demand or a need for this type of a certificate. So a lot of our students who end up graduating with this certificate end up working in hospitals, healthcare facilities, consulting firms, or within universities and corporations. Now we're going to talk about our sexual assault nurse examiner certificate. This is also an undergraduate certificate, but unlike the last three, this certificate has some requirements above and beyond what the last one did. First of all, you must have your RN license, whether that's an associate's degree or a BSN degree RN license. You have to have that, and you have to have 2 years as a working registered nurse before you can apply for the certificate. The other thing to keep in mind is that while the content is online, you do have 2.5-day immersion simulation that you need to come to Flint for. So again, the last 3 certificates were fully online. You didn't have any reason to come to Flint, but with this certificate, you are required to come to Flint. So keep that in mind. This certificate is funded by a HRSA grant. Oh, I apologize. And so it will have a possibility of being paid for. So if you have an interest in this certificate, there is an advisor specific to this certificate where you can work with any of your advisors for the other certificates. This specific advisor, since it's funded by a HRSA grant, you would need to work with Vicki. Her contact information is at the bottom, and so you would contact Vicki if you are interested in pursuing this certificate and looking to see if you possibly live in an underserved or rural community and would receive federal funding through the HRSA grant to be able to pay for this certificate. Now, I'm going to talk to you about a graduate level certificate, and the only reason I'm bringing this particular graduate level certificate into this presentation is because it is open to our current RN to BSN, traditional BSN, accelerated second degree BSN, and veterans BSN students. So if you are currently in one of our BSN programs and want to pursue a graduate level certificate, you can take 2 of the 4 classes at the undergraduate level before you graduate. Then when you graduate, you would take the 2 final classes after you graduate to finish out the certificate. The nice thing about doing that is that when you take those 2 graduate level certificates while you're in your BSN program, it would allow you to pay for them at an undergraduate tuition rate, even though you're in graduate level curriculum. So this certificate is again in healthcare simulation. And it is, as you can imagine, a growing field as simulation has skyrocketed or boomed since the COVID outreach and the need for more simulation and the ability to learn online. So let's talk about some common questions that a lot of students have. Do I need to be a University of Michigan-Flint graduate to complete this certificate? No, you can come from any university and complete these certificates, but let me go back over the criteria of each of those certificates since they are slightly different. With the nursing and healthcare informatics certificate, that certificate is open to any student that holds their nursing license. So whether you are an associate's degree nurse or a bachelor's degree nurse, you can participate in that certificate. Also, if you are currently enrolled in any of our BSN tracks, you can also take it concurrently alongside with your BSN. Now we're going to talk about the SANE certificate. The SANE certificate, remember, requires that you have a nursing license, so your NCLEX or your nursing license passed. You must have at least your associate's degree in nursing or your bachelor's degree in nursing in order to do that program. So this track, SANE nursing certificate, the only students that could do it currently or concurrently alongside their BSN program would be my RN to BSN students because they're already licensed nurses. The case management or the leadership and management certificate, both of those have the same criteria. Again, you can hold your BSN from any university or college within the United States, and or you can do it concurrently or alongside your BSN program at the University of Michigan-Flint. So again, if you're in the RN to BSN, traditional BSN, accelerated second degree, or veterans, you can do it alongside or concurrently. With the graduate healthcare simulation certificate, again, you can hold your bachelor's degree from any university within the United States, a BSN, and or you can do it concurrently with any of our BSN tracks. So when can I start? You can start prior to finishing your BSN if you are a University of Michigan-Flint student on any of those certificates, except for, remember, SANE is just really concurrently only open to RN to BSN. For my nursing informatics, case management, and leadership and management certificate, students can start in the fall, winter, or summer. You can start any semester. You can take time off if life happens. You won't be penalized. You can even take up to a year off without needing to readmit. For the SANE certificate and the graduate healthcare simulation certificate is a fall start only. So can I transfer classes in for this certificate? Yes, you can if it's an exact equivalent. So especially for like case management, leadership and management, and healthcare informatics, there's a high likelihood that you potentially took one of those classes, and we're going to go over those on the next slide or two, at your university in your BSN or potentially in your ADM program. If that is the case, we may need a copy of the syllabus to evaluate to make sure it's an exact transfer, but there is a very high likelihood that you'll transfer in at least one of those classes if you already hold your BSN. Let's talk about, is the certificate a University of Michigan certificate? Yes, you will graduate with a certificate from the University of Michigan. Flint, can these certificates be completed online? The leadership and management, case management, and the nursing and healthcare informatics certificate can be completed fully online. Whereas the healthcare simulation and the SANE certificate, the content is completed online, or the didactic coursework is completed online, but you do have visits to Flint. So keep that in mind. Can these certificate courses be used as continuing education credits? Yes. So the answer is yes for a Michigan nurse. So if you are a nurse in Michigan, you are awarded 5 continuing education semester continuing education hours for each semester credit hour you take. So for example, if you took a 3 credit hour course, you would get 15 continuing education contact hours. If you live outside of Michigan, please contact your state's licensing board to find out if they can be counted. If I am a practicing sexual assault nurse examiner, can I attend the SANE program? Yes. The program is for experienced SANE nurses as well as new SANEs. There are multiple entry points, and there are ongoing support for both novice and experienced SANE nurses. So let's talk about furthering this certificate after you graduate. So upon completing these certificates, you may want to pursue a national certificate in this area. So all of these certificates are tailored towards the nationally accredited exam. For leadership and management, case management, and nursing healthcare informatics, you do not have to set for the national accrediting exam. That is up to you if you want to be nationally certified in these areas. So if you just want to put it on a resume or be able to use the information to further your education, you can just take the coursework and still get a certificate from the university without having to take the national certification. It's just an added bonus if that's something that you want to do. For the healthcare simulation and the sexual assault nurse examiner, you do need to take a board or exam at the end to be licensed or certified as a healthcare simulationist and or as a SANE nurse. So let's talk about the different courses within the certificates. So the top one is your leadership and management certificate. The next one down is the case management. The next one is nursing and healthcare informatics. And then you'll see the graduate certificate in healthcare simulation. Same's going to be on the next slide. We'll talk about it in just a minute. As you will notice, all of the certificates are 4 courses each. So they all are 4 courses each. Now, as a University of Michigan student, you would have completed the top any class with a red asterisk next to it. You would have completed it in any of our BSN tracks. So whether that's traditional, accelerated, veterans, or RN to BSN. For courses with 2 double asterisks, 2 red asterisks, those classes are also required in the RN to BSN program. So as an RN to BSN program student, you will notice any class with a red asterisk or 2 red asterisks are required courses within the curriculum. You're taking those no matter what. So let's go over one of the certificates to give you an idea. So the first one's that leadership and management class. You'll see where it says nursing 420, 423, 424, 430, or 440. If you've taken any of those classes in one of the tracks, that's a leadership and management class, that class was required in all of your BSN programs. So you took one of those 2 different leadership and management classes in order to graduate with your BSN. So that class is done in the certificate. So now you're down to 3 classes. If you're an RN to BSN student, you also were required to take Nursing 370 was part of your curriculum. Nursing 380, Immersion in Management, can be used as your nursing elective. You need to take a nursing elective in order to graduate. If you take Nursing 380 specifically as your nursing elective, then it can also be technically built into your program. And then you'll see you need to choose an IPE course, and you'll see where it says choose one. And then there's a list of classes there. Now, if you work closely with your advisor, a lot of these classes double count as a required general education category. So I'm going to use one as example. You'll see Philosophy 271 in there. It double counts as a humanities. So it could meet not only your humanities requirement, but also your requirement for your IPE class. So if you work closely with your advisor, you could build these classes in, and it might not be any additional coursework above and beyond what is required for your BSN. And then you not only graduate with your BSN, but you would also graduate with a certificate in leadership and management to add value to your education. Same type of situations for case management or informatics. Again, if it's a red asterisk, it's built into all programs. If it's double red asterisk, it's only built into the RN to BSN program. Again, work closely with your advisor to see if you can work these classes into your curriculum so that you can graduate with both. The other thing to keep in mind, again, if you are from a different BSN program, there is a possibility that these classes transferred in. So if, like example, leadership and management, you remember you took a leadership and management course within your BSN, there's a high likelihood that it would transfer in. Same thing with health policy, it could have transferred in. Now, the thing to keep in mind for students transferring in coursework from another university, you absolutely can, but keep in mind you must complete at least 9 credits at the University of Michigan-Flint in order to receive the certificate from us. So our current students or graduates of one of our BSN programs, it's no big deal, but for students that are trying to transfer in multiples of these different certificate classes, then that might come into an impact or a contact with that, because you do need to complete at least 9 credits. So keep that in mind. With our graduate certificate in healthcare simulation at the bottom, as I mentioned before, if you are a current BSN student in any of our tracks, you can take those first 2 classes, 501 and 502. You can take those concurrently with your BSN program as a University of Michigan-Flint BSN student, and you can also count one of them as your nursing elective. For the SANE certificate, these are the different SANE classes that you are required to take. Again, there are multiple entry points, so if you've already been trained by your hospital, organization, or another college in one of these classes, you don't have to retake it. So again, talk to Vicki, the advisor for this, to see where you may fit or what classes you may have already completed. For tuition and financial aid, if for the certificate tuition for SANE grant, again, it is funded by that HRSA grant. So if you are a registered nurse in an underserved or rural population, there is a chance that it will be totally free. Again, work with Vicki to find out if you qualify. If you've already graduated with your BSN, something you need to keep in mind is that you are not able to use federal financial aid to pay for a certificate. If you are currently in a BSN program at the University of Michigan-Flint, you can use your federal financial aid to pay for certificate classes. You just want to speak to financial aid to make sure you have enough financial aid to cover those certificate classes. Also, we always tell students, almost all hospitals and or clinics have tuition reimbursement, so speak to your employer's HR department to see if they have tuition reimbursement that will help pay for these classes. The next steps, let's talk about the SANE program first. So your next steps for your SANE program, you need to apply on the School of Nursing website. And then once you're accepted, then you apply to the university. And it talks about the different steps as far as that goes. For my next steps for all of the other undergraduate certificates, oops, sorry about that. Then you need to apply at the University of Michigan-Flint. The application is free and good for a year. Make sure you pick undergraduate level, then transfer, and then select the certificate that you want to pursue. They all start with the word nursing, so just scroll down to the word nursing. And this is for students that have already graduated with one of their BSNs, or they're an associate's degree nurse for that healthcare informatics certificate. Let's talk about if you graduated from a different university other than University of Michigan-Flint, we do need a copy of your transcripts. If you are already graduated with your BSN from the University of Michigan-Flint and you're just coming back to take a certificate, you don't need to send in transcripts again. But if you're from another university and you hold your BSN or your ADM from another college or university, you do need to send your transcripts in. And then for my graduate healthcare simulation certificate, you do need to apply for the certificate, whether you are applying as a current BSN student or a student that already holds their BSN. It is a graduate program application, so there is a $55 application fee for this certificate. But if you attend one of the webinars that we offer once a month, then you would get a waiver fee. So I do suggest attending that, and also to get more information, detailed information on that healthcare simulation certificate. And then there's additional things you need to turn in on top of just your transcripts for the healthcare simulation. Since it's a graduate program, you have to turn in a resume, goal statement, all that good stuff. So let's talk about if you're my current students. You currently are in one of the BSN programs, accelerated, traditional, veterans, or aren't a BSN. You only need to add this to your SIS account. These are the step-by-step instructions on how to log into SIS and add a certificate to it. So if you're wanting to graduate with both, make sure you add the certificate in. Side note, when you go to graduate, make sure you fill out 2 graduation applications, one for your BSN and one for each certificate. If you're doing multiple certificates, you need another one, like one for each certificate. So I always want to remind students, make sure you fill out 2 graduation applications. It does not cost additional money, but you do need to fill out 2 to graduate with both if you completed all the requirements by the time you're ready to graduate. So what we suggest doing after you're either admitted or if you're a current student and you're interested in adding these certificate classes, you need to book an appointment with your advisor, whoever your advisor is. So this is the website to book appointments with an advisor. Doesn't matter if you're traditional, accelerated veterans, RN to BSN, or just coming to us for the certificate only. Here's how you book an appointment with one of us. We offer face-to-face appointments and phone and virtual appointments. Now, if you are an RN to BSN student or you're just coming to the program to do one of the certificates, you're going to work with one of us, either me, Jennifer, or Tiffany. So if you are an RN to BSN or just coming to the university to do a certificate only and no other program, you're going to book with one of us. If you are a currently enrolled traditional BSN, ASD BSN, Veterans BSN, you are going to work with your advisor. And if you are interested in SANE, make sure you work with Vicky. So that's the end of our presentation. We thank you so much for watching. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to your advisor to ask questions about the program.